Those guys, they're just hungry. Uh, those guys, they're just hungry. They want to get better every day. They want to learn from their mistakes. They just want to do anything to make the team better, really.
I guess what does your role feel like for you this spring? As now the Keelee's gone, you're kind of the incumbent starter there at corner.
I say my role this year, I'm trying to become a better leader. I'm more of a vocal guy. Lead by example and trying to bring. We got a lot of mid years and young guys, and just trying to help bring some of those guys along.
Is it hard to fill those shoes? I mean, Kelee was that guy. He was coming off Big Six last year. Is it hard to kind of take over that role?
Kelee was a great player, great guy. One of my good friends, but I really learned a lot from him and guys like him, DK, and Speed. They taught me the way. So I wouldn't say it's so hard because I know the formula, I know what to do and how to do it.
From a leadership standpoint, what were some of the things you learned from those guys?
Just trying to approach every day like it's your last day, like it's your last opportunity. Treating the G with respect, doing the little things right, sweeping the sheds, eating off the floor.
Javon mentioned the other day when we talked to him how that you and he and Taki were talking about how crazy it is that all of a sudden you guys are the older guys in that room. What is it like, kind of looking around, being like, all right, we are some more experienced guys in here.
When you really think about it, it's kind of crazy because it just feels like yesterday I was just coming in and I was a new guy on the block, just learning. Now I'm going into my third year and we got some younger guys that are looking up to us, to lead the way. It's kind of crazy.
You said it, Javon said it, Kirby said it, eating off the floor. What exactly does that mean to you, and what kind of actions does that look like?
Eating off the floor is just a mentality. Like you're not too big for anything. You're not too big to do the little things right. You're not too big to do the things that got you to where you are. So eating off the floor is just going in and approaching every day. Like I said, like it's your last day. Giving your best at every opportunity you have.
What's the motivation? And I know that Coach Smart is a master motivator, and last year he had a lot of you guys sold on. Apparently, nobody thought you were going to be good or something. He said, which couldn't be further from the truth, by the way. But now everybody thinks you're going to be good. You're going to be a preseason number one to make history as a three-peat. So where do you feel like the team has drawn some inspiration, or is there still a chip on the shoulder, or like what do you think collectively the team is motivated by this offseason?
I think we're motivated by just not getting complacent, not trying to stay stagnant. If we stay stagnant, then people are gonna catch up to us, and then if people catch up to you, you're eventually gonna get beat. And just to not wanting to lose. We at Georgia we want to win every game. We want to win against everybody we play. So just the will to win is what's keeping us going. Is what's motivating us.
Did you first? Obviously you knew that there was an opportunity to win championships here, but if somebody would have told you. Now you played your high school ball in the Tuscaloosa area, right? If somebody would have said, "Hey, Georgia's got a chance to three-peat," would you have been all in on that, or would you have said, "Boy, there's some work to do with what Alabama's done"?
Back then, there's no telling what I would have said. I'd been like, wherever the ring's at, that's where I'm going.
When you look at the defense, the fact you guys have to replace a lot of guys like Kelee, guys who were big contributors, what's the key for the guys that are coming back to try to make the most of the spring and help everybody get up to speed?
Really just leading by example. Really just approaching every day the same way, with the same motivation, with the same tenacity that you did your first day. Whenever you were trying to get a starting spot, and just trying to bring the young guys along. Everybody's gonna make mistakes, but it's how you learn from those mistakes and don't make the same mistake twice.
What have you seen from AJ Harris as he's gotten adjusted and going into his second week spring?
He's a young guy, but he's very hungry. He wants to learn. He wants to be the best that he can be. He's just very tenacious. He comes in for extra film. He watches extra tape. He does extra work after practice, and he listens as well.
How big was y'all's success? How big was Chris to y'all's success? And what's going to be the biggest challenge in replacing him?
Chris is one of those guys that you can't really describe on paper because he did so much for our team. On the field, he was a playmaker and a leader. And off the field, he was a guy that you could talk to about things outside of football, because he was an older guy. He'd been through a lot of stuff that, a lot of younger guys hadn't been through. And he was a guy that, you could always, lean on to be there, both on the field and off the field. And trying to replace a guy like that, it's definitely going to be hard. But, we got the guys, in our room and on our team that, have learned from him. And, we have the formula. So it's just a matter of just trying to do that.
Who are those guys that you think, might step in at that spot?
You know, we just got a lot of guys rotating right now. You know, a lot of guys just leading in the DB room as a whole. Myself, Taki, Bullet trying to lead. You know, we got Nile and Dalen coming along trying to lead, and just a lot of guys, you know, just buying into the process.
What have been your impressions of Smoke Bouie so far and what he's been able to bring in coming in from Texas A&M?
Smoke is also one of those guys that's just hungry, you know, coming in from a different school. You know, it's kind of tough, you know, coming into a different environment because you don't really know anybody. But you know, he's gelled pretty well with us, and you know, he's one of those guys that he just wants to get better every day.
And then I don't know how much 11 on 11 or good on good you guys have done against the quarterback so far, but what have been your impressions of Carson, Brock, Gunner this spring as they're trying to replace Stetson?
All three of those guys are just very talented. You know, can make every throw. Can give defenses issues. You know, both with their arms and their legs, and just very smart guys and guys who know how to run offense.
What have you learned working with Coach Brown over the last year, and how much more comfortable are you knowing sort of what his expectations are?
Coach Brown, Coach Fran, he taught me a lot, man. You know, coming in last year, you know, I had 2 DB coaches already, and he was going to be my third, and you know, it was, you know, kind of like, oh, here we go again. But you know, he's come in and he's, you know, treated me and the rest of my guys like family. You know, he really cares about us. He loves us, and he's willing to go the extra mile, whether it's in the film room, getting up early every day to, you know, help us with our technique, watching film, or just getting extra work after practice. And you know, we had a year together, so I really know, like, you know, what he expects from us, and he knows, like, you know, how to get me to go. You know, whenever everyone has those days, you know, he knows what to say to get me going. He knows how to, you know, lead a room.
And along those same lines, how much when you got all these different players, different personalities, how hard is it for a coach like Coach Fran to really get to know them like that and understand, like you said, what makes everybody tick?
You know, just trying to get to know everybody on a personal level outside of football. You know, that's what it really takes. You know, just trying to, you know, get connected with your players and with your teammates. You know, you can't really just be connected on the field because, I mean, like, you gotta go, you gotta do stuff outside. You gotta get to know guys' whys, and you gotta really talk to people.
Didn't you and Kelee just play left and right last year? Did you guys switch based on boundary and field?
We just played left and right. We didn't do field and boundary really.
The reason I asked, I just wondered, with Kelee gone, is there any benefit reason for you to move to the other side, or you know, or do you work at both sides, or is
yes, sir. We all the corners we work at both sides. It's not really one guy that's just set on one side. You know, field or boundary, we all work both sides.
I'm sure you've covered him at some point in practice. What makes Brock Bowers so good?
Brock is just one of those guys that, man, he's probably one of those guys that whenever you think of eating off the floor, he's probably one of the people that's on the top of the list. I mean, he came in, worked hard, you know, All-American his freshman year, but his sophomore year he did the same thing every day. You know, came in, worked hard, ran hard, team runs. You know, he's not big of a vocal guy, but you can see, like, whenever you watch him, he's leading by example. And I think that's what just makes him, you know, such a great player, is that he's just willing to do the things that it takes to be great.
For a defensive back room that's replacing Chris and replacing Kelee, how big were those, like, team runs and workouts and stuff over the past couple months in terms of figuring out leaders and developing a chemistry with the new group of guys?
You know, I say that was pretty huge because you get to learn the most about people. You know, whenever all of y'all are tired. You know, whenever all of you are, you know, suffering together. You know, running hard, and you know, guys get to, you know, gel at those times. You know, whenever things go wrong. You know, that's whenever you want to be connected the most. So just those team runs in general, they really help.
Is there one particular day or moment where you really started to feel like that secondary group is starting to come together?
You know, really, with the guys in the room, like, we've been kind of, you know, together. We played all last year, and it was only, you know, a couple of new guys, you know, but, you know, they just bought in, like, the new mid-years, they bought in, and the guys that, you know, just came in to already what was already set in stone. So it wasn't really much of a, you know, trying to get everybody to buy in. You know, those guys are willing to do it.
Any thoughts on RaRa and love it so far? I mean, you played against them last year. What's it like as teammates, and how would you say those guys are doing so far?
Well, I mean, I'm glad that they're my teammates now. I mean, those guys are really good players. You know, guarding them last year, you know, I had to watch a lot of film on both those guys, you know, just to, you know, make sure I was on my A game. But, you know, bringing them to Georgia, you know, it just increases the intensity of practice, you know, the competition level between the receivers and the DBs. And that's some things like guys like me, you know, ultra competitive guys, like, I like that, you know. I want the best guys to be here, you know, and they want to go against the best guys as well. So, you know, just those guys being here, it's really good for us.
Did they have physicality yet? Because I know that Kirby's huge on these receivers blocking, and that means battling guys like you even in practice. Have they shown that, or do you think they're still adjusting to the Georgia physicality?
I think those guys have shown it. I mean, I think that they're bought into, the Georgia way and the way we do things around here. I mean, obviously, like, when you first get here and your first couple practices, things are a little different because we do things differently here. But I say that those guys have bought in and that, they're just going to keep buying in.
You said one of your goals for the spring is to be a better leader. What does that effort look like on a daily basis to be a better leader?
Just trying to lead from, the start of the day to the end of the day. Trying to bring guys in with me for extra film in the mornings, and I'm trying to bring guys with me for extra film after practice. After practice, we work on technique a lot in the DB group, just working on certain things and just trying to be a vocal guy. Sometimes, the younger guys are going to mess up because, you're not really familiar with the playbook yet, and, just trying to help those guys, learn, and during the walkthroughs, trying to show them, that the walkthroughs are important and stuff like that, and, just trying to work your technique and, just trying to be a good leader.
So you and a couple other players were at the NASCAR race on Sunday. What you think?
That was my first time going. It was pretty cool. Those cars was loud.
Got time for two more?
Did you have to wear headphones, or were you just kind of using your ears?
I was just using my ears. I didn't wear no headphones.
Where do you think you've grown the most, whether it be mentally or physically or anything like that, from where you were last year competing for a starting job to now being looked at as the guy in the cornerback position for this team?
I think where I've grown the most is just mentally, coming in mentally prepared for every day. I know what it takes to be a Georgia Bulldog. I know what it takes to be a DB here. I mean, it's not easy. If it was easy, everybody would do it. So I mean, just trying to keep my mental correct because you could be physically strong but have a weak mind, and things could go bad. So just trying to keep just trying to be mentally tough through all situations.
All right, Kamari, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kamari.